I was molested at the age of 5 years old.
I was 12. It was right before my 13th birthday. The first time I was molested that I remember, I was 4 years old.
First time I was molested, I was 9 years old. I was in the 4th grade. My mom's boyfriend molested me. First time it happened, it was in my bedroom. The bedroom, it was like a canopy bed. The comforter was pink and white. The furniture was white. And I don't remember initially how it led up to that, but it started with just the fondling, and it's our little secret. Don't tell anybody. I felt confusing. I felt violated. I felt like it was supposed to happen. I felt like I couldn't tell anybody.
This was a family friend of my stepfather's, which he trusted. He, to this day, has no idea that it happened. This particular night, he asked me to come and listen to a song that he had just made. And so I'm sitting in the car, and I noticed while the music was playing, he touched my leg. And I had on pants, I didn't think anything of it. And then he locked the doors to the car. And at that point, he began touching me, trying to put his hand up my shirt, and I would kind of like stop his hand. And then it was just like, what are you doing? And before I could say anything, he kissed me and kind of leaned over the seat and kind of threw himself on me to where I could not get out the car. And before I knew it, he was pulling my clothes, and it just happened. I was confused. I didn't know where it was coming from. I did not expect it. I really couldn't explain what came over him because, I'm 12. At that time, we believed that he was 21 or 22 years old. And then later it came out that he was lying about his age and he was actually 33.
January 27, 2013, I was molested again. I was hanging out with some friends one day and we went to a house party. And after we left the house party, we was on our way home. And I ended up getting dropped off and was supposed to meet my little brother. And at the time when I was on my way to meet my little brother, my phone ended up dying and, so I was on my way to meet him. And as I was meeting him, I can remember it to this day, walking down the road, and I walked past a house, trailer, whatever. I walked past it and I seen an individual in the yard. I cut across the road, continued to keep walking, and as I was walking, that same individual got in the car and they rolled past me and they stopped. They asked me that I wanted a ride, and I was like, no, I'm good. They asked the question again. They was like, do you want a ride? And I was like, no, I'm good. So then they pull out a gun. I was scared for my life. So I got in the car.
It happened quite a few times from the age of 4 to 10. The other times I was molested was usually at a babysitter or usually when it was time to lay down and go to sleep. I remember being told that if I told, I would get in trouble because you weren't supposed to tell about things like that.
The molestation happened for over a year, from 4th grade to 5th grade. What stopped it was 5th grade. 5th grade, when I was coming up, we had sex education class. And in that particular sex education class, we learned about AIDS. And the guy that was molesting me was a drug addict. And I knew he used needles. So I came home from school one day and I told my grandmother, I think I have AIDS. And from there, it went into my whole world, coming into a whirlwind. Everything that I knew was forever changed. When I first told my grandmother that I thought I had AIDS, and then I told her what happened, she called my mother. My mother came to the house with him and left with him. My dad and my 2 uncles came and picked me up and took me to the emergency room, where I sat for hours and hours in a room full of doctors, police officers, investigators, having to tell my story.
I didn't know what was about to take place, and I can remember him asking me, he was like, are you gay? And I was like, no. I was like, can you just please drop me off home? And he spun around the corner and he asked me to perform oral sex on him while he had the gun up to my head. I did what he said do. Then he pulled behind an abandoned house and asked me to take off my clothes. I did that, trying to save my life. And then after it was done, I was trying to get my clothes and he ran me over. And I remember just walking up and down the road, knocking at people's doors and trying to get help, and nobody would help me. Had people come to the door and say they couldn't help me, had people send their dogs out on me, and it was just walking, bleeding, hurting. And I went to this one particular house, and the lady came to the door and she was like, I'll call the police. They took me to the hospital. And then I knew it had to be God, because when I got to the hospital, I lost all my movement in my leg. I had to learn how to walk again. They sentenced him to 17 years. As I play back the moment that it happened, it took a lot out of me. It described my life.
I remember when I lost my virginity, I prayed that I would have that signal of losing your virginity, and when I didn't, I thought about everything that had happened that robbed me of that experience. Part of me thought it was my fault. I did blame myself for a while, and I was what you would consider to be an angry teen. But it really wasn't that. I was angry because no one knew that it was going on, and I didn't know how to tell, and I didn't know what to say.
Being molested at such a young age has affected me in many ways. I always tell everybody, once you're molested or sexually assaulted, you become one or two people. You become somebody that repeats the act, or you become somebody that never wants to make somebody how someone made you feel. And I chose to never, ever make somebody feel how I once felt. Because the guy that did this to me was also a victim of sexual assault as a child.
If I was to sit them face to face, and I tell myself every day that I forgive them, but like to have a moment to say what I need to say to them, like, you destroyed my life. You hurted me. You scarred me. And I pray mercy. I pray that one day you'll realize what you did. One day you'll realize that you destroyed my life. You took something from me. You took my manhood.
Everything that has happened was so that I could be better for myself and for the people around me. I'm just growing. My name is Natalie, I'm 30, and I'm from South Carolina.
My name is T. Thames. I'm 40 years old, and I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
My name is Kayla. I am 28 years old. I'm Sumter, South Carolina, raised in Columbia, South Carolina.
Robert Cornelius Jones. I'm actually from Orangeburg, South Carolina. I'm 26 years old.